Welcome to the Drain Castle Podcast, and this is the KOF 13 character series where we talk about a single character with the players that play them. And in this episode, we're talking about XIII, a member of the Kim team, and we're talking about him with Sir Octopus. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty fine today. How are you?
Doing good, man. It's good to speak with you, man.
Yeah, I've been planning on doing a podcast for a while. Really cool that we have to do it today.
Cool, man. And yeah, just to let everybody know, he makes those really dope combo videos that you've seen. And yeah, man, you're really talented, man.
I appreciate that. I'll have another one for you next month.
Cool, sounds good. But anyways, why don't we get right into it, man? Talking about XIII. And can you just give me a brief summary about this character gameplay-wise?
Well, high damage, high pressure, and if you by any chance try to zone him out, he's just gonna drink and come at you a little bit faster and a little bit stronger.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Can you share with us some of his strengths compared to other characters in the game?
Well, one of his strengths actually would be his high damage output. Then, from what I know, and well, the only difference that I can see is gonna be the high damage HD combos that he has for one stock. If you get him on the corner, he can actually do a pretty substantial damage, like I don't know, like 50% with one stock. He has pretty fast normals, pretty high damage output, pretty strong pressure, and he has a really easy way to cross you up.
Right. Okay. Would you say he's pretty much kind of a straightforward kind of a character?
Straightforward would be aggressive.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, he's not to zone anybody out, or he only plays well in mid range or right in your face.
Okay. Well, speaking upon a bit of disadvantages, what are some weaknesses that XIII hosts compared to other characters in KOF 13?
Most noticeables would be the DPs. Non-drunk DPs are gonna be pretty unsafe on block. And pretty well, everybody who's seen XIII is actually seen that they don't use the DP so often, because if you do get a block, you're gonna be in recovery for about 2 or more seconds.
Okay.
So that's the only drawback that I can see from XIII is gonna be for the DPs, and for the quarter circle back D mid screen. That'll give you an unsafe block.
Okay. All right. What else? I mean, because you managed that, like, he's fairly weak, afar, except, when he has meter or whatever. But, like, is there any other kind of things that, you have experienced or seen that makes him a little kind of, weaker than, well, not weaker than, but compared to some other characters in the game?
Yeah, he doesn't stand well against corner pressure.
Okay.
Again, for the same reason, for the DPs, the only way that you can get out of corner pressure would be with a command grab, with the DM, the desperation, the EXDM that's gonna go all across and is gonna grab any character out of the air, or a standing jab that you really have to foresee the jump in order to do the standing jab.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't see any other ways that he can go against the pressure.
Okay. Some people have complained that he has somewhat of a kind of a floaty jump. Does that kind of ring a bell with you as well?
Floaty jump, I would say they're referring more to the hit stun that he does on jumping attacks. This is gonna be from the information that I have, is that gonna be the one that has the lowest hit stun of the roster of the characters. In this case, if you jump in with a high punch or a D, it's gonna do less hit stun than if you would jump in with any other character.
Okay.
So you have to hit really low in order to confirm on ground.
Okay. All right. Next, we're going to talk about his normals, and we're going to start with his standing normals. And why don't we start with his stand A, his stand light punch. What are your thoughts on that?
Stand A is pretty good for pressure. You can get a link for three standing three standing A, pardon. And it'll hit any crouching character, so they're not gonna be able to get out of the pressure.
Okay.
And you can just combo into say into a down forward B, which you can use to confirm to anything.
Man, that's dirty.
Yeah, and actually serves as a pretty fair anti-air. It has a pretty wide hitbox and not a pretty wide hurt box.
Okay. All right, and then next we're going to talk about his standing B, the standing light kick. That's that little poke that that little front poke kick, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend new players to overuse it, or mid or high players for the same reason. It's slow on startup and it's slow on recovery. It doesn't serve the purpose to anti-air any hops or anything like that. But if you manage to get the standing B from a far range, from the farthest range for the standing B, you can combo into the slide also, continue from there to anything. But if you get the standing B into the slide, you can actually get the EX Dragon Spear, the DX DM as a link and not as a combo.
Okay.
So you can late combo into that.
Okay, so you said like basically it the stand B kind of leaves the top part of his body vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
Any high attack is gonna get him.
Okay. All right, and then next we're going to talk about his stand C. That's stand heavy punch.
Yeah, stand C. Pretty fair anti-air. It's meaty. It stays out there for a while. Doesn't have a long recovery. Has a pretty fast startup. As I was saying, as with the standing B, if you get the last part of the slide, you can actually link into the standing C for the speed that it has. Standing C cannot be cancelled into any special, but it can be cancelled into its DM, either the backbreaker or the dragon spear.
All right. Okay. And next is his standing D. He has a little kind of a inverted roundhouse kick. What are your thoughts on this one, man? I think it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, cannot be cancelled into any special, but it can be used to counter hops, counter pokes, and it has a pretty far range actually. Doesn't have any long recovery. Has a pretty fast startup. Yeah, it's actually faster than the standing B, I think. So overuse it. You can overuse that, but not become predictable.
Is there any way around it? Because like it's fast, man. It's like, it's so good. It seems that it doesn't have much of a any kind of opening, man. Is there any kind of way to sort of punish this move or stop people from like just using it?
The only way that I can think of is that you figure out the patterns when you're gonna use it. Say in this case, if you find yourself playing against someone that uses the standing kick after 2 light punches, then anytime he does 2 light punches, you can just hop, and you're gonna get over the standing D. So you do have to be consistent in figuring out the patterns.
Okay, all right, and it does hit crouching opponents too, right?
It hits crouching opponents. It does.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, so I would advise to overuse it, but again, do not be predictable with those hits.
Okay, all right. Next is his close C, close heavy punch. That's that little elbow, right?
Yeah, close heavy punch. Well, it's a standard combo opener. Uh, not really that slow. You can actually use it uh, to counter any hit that they would do close up,
Mm-hmm.
and it beats most of them. It can also be used as an anti-air. I've used it against Chen, against Chen's jumping C,
Mm-hmm.
and I've actually won most of the time.
Really? What was it? Was they like fairly close to you when it
It was
activated?
close, but both hits were out at the same time,
Oh wow. Okay.
and I've been able to beat it with that or the down C, whichever one.
Okay. All right. Well, next we're gonna talk about his close heavy kick, and that's that his little standing thrust knee attack, right?
Yeah, a little bit slower than the standing. I'm sorry, the close C.
Mm-hmm.
But if you manage to hit it, it's gonna drive you a little bit forward than the close C. So if you do a close D into the slide, it's gonna get you even closer than any other combo that you may make.
Hmm. Okay. So.
Yeah, just like I'm sure you've noticed Chan's close D,
Mm-hmm.
that it drives you closer than the close C. Same thing with Wa, but it's just a little bit frame advantage.
Okay. So when someone is starting kind of a bread and butter combo, um, should they start with close D over close C, or which ones do you feel are more advantageous?
Okay, if you're meaning to punish something that it doesn't have really long recovery, I would advise to go with the close C,
Okay.
since it is a little bit faster than the D. But if you want to make like combos that require you to be really close to the opponent, close D would be the best option.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, next we're gonna talk about his crouching normals, and we're gonna start with the crouch A, and that's his crouch light punch, right?
Yeah, the crouching A's, the little elbow, uh, doesn't have a really long range, but it's really fast. Uh, just one second, yeah, it should be like 4 frame startup. But max, it's gonna be a 4 frame startup. You can get two of those crouching.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually get two of those, and then the crouching C into the slide.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah,
Dang.
yeah, those two gives you a little bit of frame advantage on block,
Mm-hmm.
so you can do one hit and start a block string from there.
Oh, okay, cool. So it's pretty good for just some pressure, right?
Yeah, frame traps or just guard pressure. That would be the one.
Okay. All right. Well, next we're talking about his crouching B. This one is it's pretty good for starting combos, right?
Yeah, pretty good for starting combos. Pretty fast startup. Again, it should be 4 frames as well as the crouching A.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Although this one cannot be canceled into any special or any command normal. Not even the DMs.
Ah.
So if you're gonna start with the B, I suggest that you only do one down B because you don't know how far you're gonna grab the opponent. So if you do the 2 times the down B, it's possible you're not gonna get the crouching A, or actually you can do the 2 down Bs into standing B into slide. That's gonna always hit.
Okay. Cool. All right. And next is his crouching C, crouching heavy punch.
The bison punch. Yeah, man, that I gotten away with some pretty sick comebacks with down C. It beats almost anything. I would recommend to use it especially against Kim.
Mm.
Yeah, that's gonna beat the standing B and the standing D. Those are the ones that Kim actually uses to make pressure. So I would advise to use that as much as you can. You can use it as meaty as the character is waking up. the opponent, is gonna hit, and then you can do another C, and it's gonna hit as well. So you can link two down C. If you hit the first one as a meaty one, it can be canceled into any special or into the slide.
Okay.
And also has a pretty huge hitbox.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, hence why I call it the the Bison Punch.
Cool, man. All right. Next, we're gonna talk about his sweep, and that's crouching D or a crouching heavy kick.
Yeah, crouching heavy kick, pretty far range. Not as much as the standing D, but it goes a little further than the standing C. And well, the standing C goes pretty far. Standing D can also be used as pressure because it can be canceled into the slide. Or into any special for that matter. If you do the low D into the slide, it's gonna the slide's only gonna hit the last part of the active frames. So you can do another standing punch and standing A into another slide and start the pressure from there.
Wow. Okay. And next, we're gonna go into his jumping normals, and we're gonna start with jump A. That's jump light punch, and
yeah,
that looks like kind of like a elbow or something, right? How does that?
Yeah, it's a little elbow that he does on the air, but it from what I've seen and my own experience, the only real use would be to anti-air. But the what do you call this? The jumping C goes out. It should be pretty much the same speed. Yeah, from what I can see, the jumping A is 7 frames and the standing jumping C is 8 frames. So standing C, I'm sorry, jumping C would be better than the jumping A.
Okay.
In most cases.
Right. Okay. And yeah. Next, we're gonna talk about the jump B, jump light kick, and that is kind of like a little knee kind of looking move, right?
Yeah, it's a knee kick. It's pretty useful as an anti-air also, going air to air. But it can also be used to cross up the opponent. It's also 7 frames. So again, if you're going air to air, try to use the jumping C. But the jumping A would be, I'm sorry, jumping B. It's gonna give you a cross up option.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the only bad thing about it, as I was saying earlier, that the jumping hit stun, it's not that great. So if you want to cross up, it should be when the opponent's waking up. Okay. So you can hit as low as possible with the cross up and follow up from there.
Okay. And you talked a little bit about jump C, jump heavy punch. Is there any thing else you like to add about his jumping?
Jump C?
Yeah.
Yeah, jump C, if you manage to land a jump C into a standing opponent, or, well, yeah, preferably a jumping opponent, you can go quarter circle back B, which is going to extend the hit stun, and from there follow up with anything you want. Just a reminder, the jumping C can be cancelled into any special in the air. Aside from that, just make sure to hit as high as possible if you're going to start a combo with those 2 moves with the quarter circle back. Because if you hit really low, the quarter circle back is going to drive away the opponent.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's only going to give you an option to do a far C or far D. Well, you have the HD, you can combo off of it, but otherwise, I wouldn't advise it.
Okay. All right, next we're going to talk about his jumping D, which is jump heavy kick.
Jumping D, further range, but it has more like a 35-degree angle, so it's not gonna hit some opponents if they're crouching, like say in this case the chin, the stance where he drops down to his belly. If he does that, the jumping C is going to hit, but the jumping D isn't. Waja is going to hit the ground before the kick. So if you want to hit a crouching opponent, I would advise the jumping C. If you want to hit a far opponent or an opponent that's far away, I would advise the jumping D. It can be canceled into any move also.
Okay, and it has a pretty wicked cross-up hitbox, right?
Oh yeah, same. Actually, it's a better cross-up option than the B. Since this one you can cancel into any move, you can cross up with the D. It doesn't matter if you hit high enough. You can cancel that into a DP, the one that goes down, and you can combo with a DM after it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh man, Waja has a pretty sick damage output.
Oh man, yeah, he's crazy, man. All right, well, we're gonna go into his blowback attacks, and we're gonna start with stand CD, and that's that little kind of like spin side kick that he does that kind of pushes him back, right?
Yeah. Okay. The blowback, it has a pretty neat quality that it's actually in the air in the startup frames. So in the case of Wa versus, let's say, Raiden, if you have Raiden cornered and he's waking up and you do a stand CD for pressure, and he does an EXDP, he's going to grab you out of the standing blowback, even though you think you're on the ground, you're actually in the air, but it's not gonna be able to counter you with the normal grapple. You're actually gonna get a counter hit and start up from there to a big combo. But say in this case, it's pretty useful against normal grapplers who don't have a DP. Say Clark, if you do a standing CD when he's waking up, he doesn't have any options except to block it. Because if he tries to grab you, he's not gonna be able to because you're in the air. And if he tries to grab you with the one that has the auto guard, you can just cancel into any special move and extend the damage even more. Pretty far range also, and it drives you forward while you're doing it. It has a pretty good block stun also.
Because he's in the air, that means he can like evade some fireballs too, right? Some like low, like ground traveling fireballs.
He can, but I wouldn't advise it because I've actually played what do you call it? I've played chicken with a couple of my my buddies against Iori's C version fireball. So he can only evade low fireballs that are fast enough.
Okay.
So if you want to evade, say, Terry's, either you're not gonna be able to, or it has to be when you're waking up or some crazy stuff like that. Okay. I've never been able to do it against Terry.
Okay.
I've only been able to do it against C version Iori and normal Kyo's EX Fireball.
Okay. All right. So if it's active for too long, then he'll get hit by it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Man, what are some ways around this CD, man? It seems pretty hard to like
against the standing CD.
Yeah, I mean, besides what you mentioned about him in the corner and the opponent having Raiden and that he's airborne. But is there anything else
to get around it?
Yeah.
I would suggest any slide. Like I played against King for a while, and her slide actually beats the CD. Oh. The CD, the hit goes above her, and he gets hit with the meaty slide.
Oh, okay.
So that would be one option. Another option would be to predict the pattern, because it has a pretty bad startup.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can hop over it or just do any DP that has invincibility frames, and basically that they're not gonna do that pretty often when they're in close range. They're only going to do that in mid range.
Okay. All right, cool. And next we're going to talk about his jump CD.
Jump CD would be pretty much like Joe's. Well, any normal is gonna be pretty much like Joe's. His jumping CD has pretty fast startup, Uh, Pretty long range actually, and you can cancel into any special move in order to extend the pressure. Or if you were able to get a counter hit of it, you can cancel into any special move to extend the combo. That's a pretty that's the advantage of Wajai. It can cancel any normal out of the air, except the jumping B.
Right.
But in this case, the jumping CD or jumping blowback. Uh, most of Wajai's combos and pressure actually take light in the corner.
All right. Okay. All right. Cool. I think that's about it for his normals. Why don't we talk about his normal throw? And yeah, are there any kind of useful uses to his normal throw at all that you could think of?
Yeah, his normal throw. All I can all I can say is you might want to try experimenting with the EX Dragon Punch after the throw. You're gonna get a couple of mix-ups with that EX Dragon Punch as well as cross-ups.
Should that be done in the corner or which position?
No, it should be done outside of the corner.
Okay.
Since the actual purpose would be to cross up, it should be done mid screen or further from mid screen. After the normal grab, either version, the C or D version, you can do a DP, the D version, and it's gonna give you the enough time to get in the opponent's face again.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Cool.
Aside from that, let me think about one more thing that I was experimenting with. No, that should be all that I have for that.
Okay. Cool. All right. Next, we're gonna talk about his command move, the slide, and that's down forward B or down forward light kick.
Yeah, the slide would be unsafe point blank, either on hit or on block. So don't do it point blank. You might want to do a light hits before going to the slide. That way, if he's blocking, you're gonna be in frame advantage and be able to do another standing A or standing B, depending on the range that you ended up with. It can be canceled into any special, and if you're able to hit just at the end of the active frames, you can either link a standing C, you can link a standing D, or you can link an EXDM, or in this case, the EX Dragon Spear.
Okay. All right. Cool. And all right. Why don't we talk about his special moves? And why don't we start with the TNT punch? That's quarter circle forward punch.
Yeah, TNT punches. Punches. The best use that I have for him would be at the end of a long combo. Not at the end of one drive cancel combos because they're going to scale the damage pretty significantly. I just use it at the end of long combos or after a slide. If you do the slide, try not to input the punches just as you get the hit. Try to do it at the end of the active frames, so you can actually hit the opponent with the TNT punches. Other way, you're not gonna get the range that the slide's gonna offer you, and the TNT punches are only gonna be hit in the air. They have a pretty quick startup, and you can cancel. Well, not cancel actually. You can follow up with another quarter circle forward punch, and it's gonna throw the opponent skyward. If you're at the corner and you do the continuation for the dragon punch, you can get a standing C, standing A, or EX the EX desperation move without having to cancel.
All right. Cool, man. Sounds pretty cheap.
Oh yeah, there were if you look up cheap in the dictionary, I'm pretty sure you're gonna find how Wajai.
Yeah, I bet so, man.
Either that or karate.
Oh yeah. All right. Next, we're gonna talk about his dragon tail. That's quarter circle back kick in the ground or in the air. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, first I'm gonna talk about the ground B version. Uh, if you by any chance do this, the quarter circle back B, and the opponent blocks it, you're always gonna be on a disadvantage. So don't. I actually don't use this move for anything outside the outside canceling out of the dragon punch. I'm sorry, outside canceling the D dragon punch, so I can extend the combos. But outside from it, I don't actually use this move. It's pretty unsafe, pretty slow, doesn't have any invincibility at all. So I would advise against it unless you're using this in a combo. For the B version, B air version, uh, as I was saying with the normal punches and normal air moves, you can cancel into this move from any normal except the B, the air B, or the air light kick, and extend the combos from there. You can also, if you're over the opponent, you can input the quarter circle back B reversed, and it's gonna go. The animation's gonna look as if you're inputting to the correct way, but actually you're going to cross up the opponent with a reversed quarter circle back.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty difficult to do. So I only use it after a confirmed setup. In this case, the dragon backbreaker. Outside from it, I don't really use the move. Oh, another way that you can use the move, I actually just remembered. It's a pretty cheap way to build meter. You just go the backdash and do the move from there. So just backdash and do the dragon tail, the B version, and it's gonna give you free meter. And if you time it well enough, you can do the dragon tail just as you're about to hit the ground, and it's gonna give you the meter, but it's not going to give you the animation. So you can just build meter that way and not let the opponent know that you're building meter.
That's weird. I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody use that, so that's a patented trick that I have. But in the next video that I'm going to release about Wajai, I'm going to explain how every one of those tricks work. Now for the D version Dragon Tail, if you're mid-screen and you do the D version on the ground, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So they're going to be able to punish you. You're only going to be safe if you do a block string in the corner. So it's pretty ambiguous because they're not going to be able to grab you even if they block with a one frame command grab. So after they block, there's a couple of options. You can do the B version DP. You can roll. You can do the C version backbreaker that jumps over any attack and it's actually invincible. Or you can do another D version Dragon Tail. So the opponent actually has to guess what you're gonna do next in order to avoid the pressure. But it's actually pretty ambiguous for yourself also. So since you're both gonna end up with the same advantage, he can also roll. He can do an EXDM. He can do a Dragon Punch. So only use this if you want to get inside the opponent's head.
All right.
As for the air version, I use this a lot actually on a backdash. In order to for the opponent to hit against it and get an airborne opponent, and from there do the Dragon Spear. It works really well if you jump forward or hop forward, actually, uh, it's kind of like a psyche kind of mix up.
Mm-hmm.
Say in this case with psyche, you jump and do back B, and you actually end up where you first started, or you don't jump all the way. He actually cuts the jump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's the same thing with Wajai. You just do a hop and do the Dragon Tail with the D version, and it's gonna drive you back, and the opponent's gonna smash against the meaty attack.
Okay,
And from
so
there, from there you can start a combo. If you're in the corner, even better, you can start a kill combo. That we all know that Wajai can kill with one stock and two drives. So it's pretty sick. You might, if you ever land that hit, you can just go into a kill combo or a stun combo, or just anything that's gonna lead into a 70% damage with one stock and one drive.
okay. Any thoughts on his EX version of this quarter circle back kick?
EX. Let me jump back to the EX TNT punches.
Okay.
EX TNT punches are really good when you want to do corner combos, but again, since they do a lot of hits and not a lot of damage, they're going to scale the combo significantly. So don't use it as often. Only use it if you would really want to kill the opponent. It doesn't have a lot of life left. This can also be used to extend stun combos, but I'll get into that in the video.
Okay.
Now about the EX Dragon Tail. Well, again, we have two versions: the air and the grounded version. The grounded version, the startup, it's pretty fast and has fireball invincibility. It doesn't have the melee invincibility, so you might want to use it only against fireball block strings, like say Athena or Kamsu or any other character that uses a lot of fireballs in order to extend the pressure.
Okay.
It's also gonna give you a hard knockdown. So either you can jump for a cross up. Okay, so the EX Dragon Tail has a pretty fast startup, and also has the startup frames, or the first kick that it does. It has fireball invincibility. It does not have any melee invincibility, so don't use it against like Rolf or anything like that. Only use it against characters that use fireballs to extend the pressure.
You said melee
attacks.
Oh, you're talking about punching hitting attacks, right?
Yeah, or any physical attack. It doesn't have any physical attack invincibility.
Okay, cool. I never heard someone use that specific word for that. I wasn't sure.
Well, I'm into medieval stuff, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's cool.
I actually use that a lot. Okay, it has a hard knockdown, and also, since it does give you the hard knockdown, it does give you the option to do a lot of mix-ups. In my case, I like to do something that I call the reverse cross-up. This is when you jump to the other side of the opponent and do a reverse DP, but instead of hitting the opponent from the side you jumped into, it's gonna hit the opponent from the original side that you jumped from. So I'll go ahead and explain that in the next video that I'm going to release. As for the air version, I don't use it a lot. All that I know is that it's really fast. If you use it, it does give you a pretty fast recovery also. But outside from that, I wouldn't be able to give you any advice on how to use that move, since it's not really useful for combos. It's only useful for to escape a jump in. in this case, if you want to bait out Chance Super Saiyan DM, uh, you can just jump and do the EX version. And since it doesn't have any time stop like a DM, it could bait any like a DP or any reversal for anti-airs.
Okay, that's interesting. So it'll just almost evade the Super Saiyan jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you need to do the EX Dragon Tail before the EX DM even starts up. Since it is like a 4-frame DM, the Cyan one. It doesn't matter if you do it at the same time. It's gonna win over your Dragon Tail.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So should we move on to the next special move? Or is there any other tricks you like to tell us about the EX Dragon Tail?
EX Dragon Tail. I can advise again to get over the fireballs and to chip the opponent. Also, if the opponent's crouching and they block the first hit and they're still crouching, the second hit is gonna jump over them. So if they're not aware of it, you can start hitting them from the other side.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, you can use it to get into the opponent's face a little bit quicker than you would do with normal pressure.
Okay.
It really gives you a lot of space.
Okay. All right. Next, we're going to talk about his dragon kick, and that's dragon punch or DP kick.
Yeah, the DP or the dragon punch, dragon kick. I'm gonna talk about the B grounded version. Don't use it unless you really have to. It has pretty slow startup and slow recovery. It goes into a diagonal angle, so it's not going to win over. If they have you against the corner and they do a jump in, like a high jump in, not a hop, you're not gonna be able to win with a DP. It's actually going to whiff, and they're going to be able to punish you even further. So only use this move doing combos. Only use it when you're doing a combo. That's for the B version. Now talking about the air DP, the B version, you can abuse it all. You can actually abuse it all that you want, because it's gonna be safe on block, and it comes at a really good angle where you can do a normal on the air and then do the DP, and it's going to force the opponent to block, giving you further options for block strengths. And if you manage to hit the opponent with it, you can do either EX Dragon Tail on ground, or any DM on ground, and it's gonna get the opponent, or just a standing D. A standing D will also hit the opponent.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, but you can abuse it all you want. I do it all the time. You can also use it to build meter, since the recovery is pretty fast, and if you're in the adequate range, say 50% of the screen or 40%, you can build meter. You can build one bar or one stock. I think it's gonna be with 12 or 14 DPs.
Okay.
So it's pretty useful.
All right. Did you mention much about the EX versions?
No, actually, let me get into the D version.
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, the D version. I would suggest that you don't use it unless you're at a safe distance and you have a setup that it's gonna be safe for you to use the D version on the ground, or when starting a combo. This DP does 70 damage each hit, so it's like 2 DPs in one. So it's pretty high damage output. Uh, it's gonna be pretty unsafe on block, and it has a pretty slow startup. Also, the air version, I don't use it. I only use it about. I've only used it like twice, and I think it was by an input error, and actually didn't. It wasn't quite favorable in for my part.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't advise anyone to use it outside of a combo.
Okay.
Now about the EXDPs. EXDP has a pretty fast startup, faster than the Dragon Spear. In this case, the DM. Uh, at least for me, it seems that it's a lot faster than the DM. Uh, you can do 3 reps of or 3 hits, 2 reps, 3 hits, just like you would do with the with Choi. Remember that he does the up and down. Same thing for the EX kick or EXDP. Uh, into any direction that you want, except up or down. But it's gonna go to any horizontal and any diagonal version or angle. It has a pretty cool property for when you hit an opponent out of the air with any normal. They're gonna take an invincible state where they cannot be hit out of the air anymore until they touch the ground. But in this case, just like Vice's EX Whip can grab out an opponent out of the air or out of any invincible state, so can Wajai. So you can just counter poke with a standing A, counter pro a hop or anything like that, and follow up with the DP. It's gonna drive the opponent all the way to the other side of the screen, giving you the corner advantage.
I never knew that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, if the opponent's on the ground and they failed to emergency roll, you can do the EXDP, the air version. The air version is gonna come at a diagonal angle, and it's gonna bring the opponent from the ground. It's like an OTG that you see on Marvel. That they pick up the opponent. Same way with Wajai.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and also you can do 3 reps, and if the opponent doesn't roll again, you can do another 3 reps, and so on and so on.
Okay. All right. Cool, man. That's some crazy stuff, dude.
Yeah, yeah. As I mentioned, was cheap.
Okay. All right. Well, next we're going to go into his desperation moves, and we're going to start with the drink pink, or the way he gets drunk, and that's the double quarter circle back punch.
Yeah. There's a couple of ways that you can use this safely, but only against a couple of characters. Say in this case, I usually do a standing CD into the drink, and the block stun that they get is gonna be enough time for me to recover from the drink. And from there, if they are crazy enough to run at me and try to punish it with anything, you can just do a DP D version. It's completely invincible, so you're gonna get over anything that they throw at you. Also, another way to get the drink safely, it's against when they throw a really fast fireball. You can do the DM just as the fireball's about to hit you, and it does have some invincibility. So it's the fireball's gonna go right past it. Right past them, I mean.
Okay.
And it has a pretty fast recovery. It lasts for about 15 game seconds, and what it does, it's gonna give you a 10% damage output. I'm not, now about this last part, I'm not quite really sure, but I do think that Wajai gets dealt a little bit more damage from when it's in the drunk state. I'll have to look into that later on. Or you might want to try to figure it out on your own, whichever. Every move, it's gonna be altered, except for the TNT punches. Those are the only ones that I haven't seen any change in. But as far as let's say the DP, they gain a lot of invincibility and range, and it allows you to do some crazy infinite combos with the one stock and half an HD bar. So drink whenever you can. That's what I can advise.
Right. Okay.
Whenever you get the chance, drink.
Right. Yeah, I think we've seen many people drink when they pick YGI, and it's for good reason.
It's for a reason. So many people cannot be wrong.
Right. Okay. Do you know if he gets stronger or weaker when he drinks, or is there any kind of like damage input or decrease that you may know of?
Yeah, from what I mentioned, the damage output, it's gonna be 10% more.
Mm-hmm.
The damage intake, I've seen from my experience that it's a little bit more than usual. So he does get dealt a little bit more damage. So you might not want to go overboard when you're in the drunk state, even though it's fun to do it. Oh man, it's fun to just get drunk with Waja and do all sorts of crazy stuff. But you're gonna be tempted to do the DP, the D version, because it's completely invincible. Say in this case, I've gone against Takumas or Takuma's C version DM. Just about when Takuma's DM is about to get into the active frames, you can do a DP and it's gonna beat him out of it, even though his is invincible also. What else? What else? What else? Oh yeah, the B version Dragon Tail. Instead of doing one hit, it's gonna do 2 hits, which allows you to extend air combos. You can do 4 reps of this move, which is gonna deal an awful lot of stun damage and health damage also. But if you manage to land the DP, you can learn a lot of simple combos that are going to lead into stun combos or even kill combos from a simple DP. Also, what I've seen or what I've done with Wajai when it's drunk, the DP, the B version, also gains more of an angle and more height. So that would be another thing to look for. If the opponent's doing like some jump-ins or hops that don't actually go all the way, you can do a DP. It's gonna beat him out of it.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well, moving on to his next desperation move, and you call this the Dragon Spear, right? The double quarter circle forward kick.
Dragon Spear.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. And
The one that goes across the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think the move list it says Dragon Dance or whatever. But,
Dragon Dance.
That's I believe so.
Well, it might be Dragon Dance.
Well,
I call Dragon Spear because that's what it sounds like when it.
well, it's okay. I think everybody has little nicknames for different moves and stuff. But yeah, man. What can you tell us about this move?
About the Dragon Dance.
Yes.
About the normal version. It's pretty unsafe. Both. The normal and the EX versions. They're pretty unsafe, so I would advise it only to use it after a confirmed hit. Now, if you're in mid game or at the startup of the game, I wouldn't. If you have an option for the Dragon Dance or the EX Dragon the EXDP, I would recommend to do the EXDP to get the opponent to the corner over the DM. You are going to lose about 3 or 4% damage, but you're going to gain ground. So I would advise over it. Again, as I mentioned, the Dragon Dance only use it after a confirmed hit, and if you want to kill the opponent, or at the end of combo.
Okay.
The EX version, completely invincible. Only halfway through the DM. So only at the startup, not like Mr. Karate's one that goes almost all the way. The EX Dragon Dance, it's pretty quick. Let me just see my notes here. And the EX Dragon Dance, don't remember the exact damage, but you can use it after either a short or a long combo, and it's going to drive the opponent all the way to the other side of the screen, allowing you to do either 2 meter building specials or 1 meter building special with, and another like a jump in or anything to extend the pressure. It's not scaled that much, even after a really long combo. It's still going to do like 19. It's still gonna do like 150 damage or something like that.
Okay.
Also, a great anti-air.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen it anti-air a couple times.
Yeah, but it has to be really precise because since it's really fast, if you do it just a couple of frames before it actually hits the opponent, it's just gonna go under the opponent. It's gonna give you a little bit of breathing space, but you're gonna waste 2 meters on it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next we're gonna talk about is the Dragon Backbreaker, and that's quarter circle forward, half circle back punch, and this is like a throw move, right?
Yeah, this is a 1-frame throw for the A version, and it's gonna be like a jump in for the C version, which is completely invincible. And it travels half screen. So actually, the zoners that use fireballs to zone or anything like that are gonna have a really hard time against wall because of that jump in. If they try to do like a block string with say in this case Athena, if she does like a standing sing to a fireball, you're gonna be able to do the C version backbreaker and grab her out of it, and from there get the advantage. Dragon Backbreaker also, as I mentioned, the one frame link. So I'm sorry, 1-frame throw. So if you manage to land a slide, and you were not able to confirm with a DP or anything, you can confirm into the command grab, and it's always going to grab. And actually, the Dragon Backbreaker allows you to do a cross up or a roll in order to confuse the opponent onto which side you're going to end up. So it's a pretty useful tool, pretty cheap actually. As I mentioned, even Kyo's EX grab, it's pretty cheap, so it's gonna be the same thing for Wajai. 1 stock in order to panic the opponent.
Okay.
Yeah, well, when you have the pressure that Wajai deals, adding a command grab is gonna be overkill.
Oh yeah, I would imagine that, man. Yeah.
Again, when you were in the drunken state, it's gonna do 10% more damage, but it's also gonna give you a 3rd hit, which allows you to combo. If you're in HD mode, it's gonna allow you to cancel into Neomax a lot easier than the normal Backbreaker. Where in the Backbreaker, you need to cancel with the Neomax after he throws the opponent when he does the knee. And in this case, when it's drunk, you need to cancel as soon as the third hit is dealt to the opponent. So it's actually a lot easier. Less timing involved.
Oh wow. Damn, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, Wajai for you.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, I'm just shaking my head listening to all this stuff, man. Let's get into this Neomax, and the command for that is quarter circle forward, half circle back, light kick, heavy kick, right?
Yeah, yeah. Forward then back. Well, the Neomax has two options. Either the complete damage, which is gonna be like it seems almost that the Wajai is going to grab the opponent and then close some big jaws on him. But there's the other alternative, which is gonna be like Robert's partial damage. In this case, the partial damage, I mean that it's only going to hit part of the Neomax. It's not going to hit the Neomax at full. Robert's only gonna give you an explosion. It's not going to drive you like a skateboard. Yeah, that's what we call it here in Mexico, skateboard. I think Wajai they call it the parrot or something like that. Yeah, because it sounds like a parrot or like a vulture or something like that.
Right.
But the partial damage. It's going to drive the opponent with like 10 hits or something like that, and it's only going to close the knee and close the elbow on the opponent right on the top, and it's going to allow you to fall before the opponent and be able to combo off of it and even drive in with EXDM after it. Yeah, so it's a pretty sick character, as you can see.
Oh man! All right, that's crazy.
Also, if you're going to anti-air and you want to spend 2 meters or 3, don't use the Neomax. Better use the EXDM. The Neomax is gonna be slower.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Let's go into just a couple of combos just to get some beginners started, and why don't we start with some like sober combos or some combos that they'll obviously be using when not drunk. Do you have any in mind? Just like a few.
Yeah, I have a couple that you can use for beginners for one drive and one stock. Now, if you are away from the corner, if you don't have the opponent corner, just do starting from the ground. You can use any jumping that you want. Starting from the ground, you can either start with a fierce hit or a light hit, but always go into the slide. So with that said, I'm gonna start with the slide only. So it's gonna be slide. You can go into the DP, the D version. It's going to land 2 hits. Just wait for actually, you can cancel as soon as the second hit. From there, when you land, you can either do a DM, the Dragon Dance, or you can do a standing CD, and it's going to hit the opponent also. Standing CD into the EXDP, which, as I mentioned before, it doesn't care that the opponent is in a invincible state. It's going to hit him anyway. So in this case, you were gonna get the field advantage. Another combo, the same setup, but in the corner, you're gonna do slide after the jump in and the normal hit that you want to do. You're gonna do the slide, the DP, the D version. After the second hit, just wait just a little and cancel into the Dragon Tail, the B version, or into the B version, and then do another DP on the ground, another DP, the D version, and from there you can do a Dragon Dance, and it's like doing 5 DPs of damage before doing the DM, which is pretty sick. Also, as I was saying, this is one of the combos that relies on you doing the close D. This next one, you need to do close D on the corner, close D, slide, wait just a little, and do the DP, the D version, and cancel with the Dragon Tail, the D version again. It's going to launch the opponent upward, and when you land, you can do another Dragon Tail, the D version. And this one has a special property. If you hit the opponent low enough, it's going to do one extra hit, which is going to launch the opponent upwards, and it's going to launch you downward. So you can do a DP as you land, and then another the Dragon Dance, which is again, it's gonna be 2 DPs, 3 DPs, the Dragon Tail, and another 2 DPs. So it's 5 DPs and a Dragon Tail of damage. Before even going into the DM or the Dragon Dance, which is pretty sick for Wajai. Those are the one stock, one drive combos.
Okay. All right. Cool.
There's actually a way to get 715 damage with one stock and one drive in the corner, and which is pretty easy actually. But you need to get the jump in with the C and the B Dragon Tail, which I'll explain to you in detail when I release the video. Don't worry about it.
Okay, that sounds sick, man. All right. Why don't we go into some things when he's drunk? What are some combos a beginner should try to pick up when they're in his drunk mode?
Okay, well, as I mentioned, when you're in drunk mode, the DP, the D version, it's gonna be completely invincible. So if you're not gonna be worried about any zoners, fireball zoners, because if they try to fireball you, you can just do a DP. It's gonna run right through it, and cancel into the B version Dragon Tail from anywhere in the screen. And from there, you can get at least 3 reps of the Dragon Tail B version, the grounded version. You can get at least 3 reps, and it's gonna take the opponent all the way to the other side of the corner. And from there, you can start a stun combo or anything you do when Wajai is drunk. Even if you don't do a DM or a desperation move, it's gonna deal at least 50% of damage. So you don't actually need to spend any bars or any stocks with Wajai once you're drunk. Better save the stocks for more drunkenness, or to end the combo in order to kill the opponent. The drunk combos, they're pretty straightforward, but if you're drunk, you're better off doing the combos without having to go into HD mode. Because in this case, if you go into HD mode, you're going to deal the same amount of damage that you would do with Wajai in one drive. So try to use only drive combos. Don't use the hyperdrive combos, because you're not gonna build any meter. And as with the drive combos only, you're gonna be able to build quite a substantial amount of meter, which you can use to end the combos, or again to get drunk again.
Okay.
So when you're drunk, it's gonna be drive combos instead of hyperdrive combos.
Okay. All right. Speaking of hyperdrive combos, why don't we go a little bit into that, man? What do you think about his HD combos kind of as a whole? You know what I'm saying, is regarding damage and meter, and even what you just said before about if they're drunk, just might as well just do a combo without going into it, man. Yeah, what are your overall thoughts on his HD combos?
His HD combos, there's a lot. I've actually developed a couple of easy wall-to-wall combos. that don't require any timing at all. I'm going to release them. I'm gonna tell you about one of them right now, but the other ones I'll go ahead and explain to them in detail in the video. But most of Wajai's full screen combos require specific timings, so they're not really apt for beginners with Wajai. So I'll give you this couple of combos for beginners. But just to let you know, Wajai's HD combos deal about 80 to 85% damage in the corner without having to spend any meter. So that's pretty sick for any character to be able to do. I haven't seen that aside from Shin, which also has pretty sick combos. But I'll get into one of the corner combos would be just to do DP, the D version, into Dragon Tail B version. You can just loop this combo and should deal about 70% without spending any meter. Just do a DP and cancel the second hit into the Dragon Tail, the B version, and it's going to allow you to fall before the opponent, so you can do another DP on the ground while the opponent's airborne, and cancel again with the same move with the B Dragon Tail, and you can just do that as you go along, and until the dry bar is completely replenished, and from there you can go into any normal or any special or any desperation move. But he does deal a lot of damage with any HD combo. Now, the ones that you need to do outside of the corner, I released one of them in the Sir Octopus video number 2. Sorry, number 3. That's where you're gonna see the Wajai combos. But one of them, it's a lot easier. It's after the slide. Again, you do your hits, go into HD mode, again, any other normal, into the slide. Now let the slide go as far as you can, and go into the TNT punches. Now the TNT punches, you need to follow up with the hit that throws them up into the air, which is another quarter circle forward with a punch, and cancel that punch with the DP version. Which is going to do two hits to the opponent while they're airborne, and as soon as you recover from the from that last move, you need to do a DP B version and cancel into the DP D version, and that's going to leave the opponent all the way to the other side of the screen. And from there, you can just do any other of the reps that I told you earlier, and it should deal at least 60% damage all the way from the other side of the screen.
Damn. Oh man, that's
the video that I'm gonna release is gonna be pretty awesome. Don't worry about that.
All right, cool.
I'll give you a couple of tips also on how to defeat Wajai, which is I'll cover that later on in the podcast.
All right, cool. All right, well, next, why don't we just get into some light strategy, man, and tactics. Why don't we start with some things to do offensively and defensively from afar?
From afar, drink. It's a sad thing that you cannot build the drinks like one over the other. That would be pretty broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're in a far range, drink and start building meter, because that is when you're drunk, and I've seen this happen with Shin also. Once you get drunk, one of two things are going to happen with the opponent. Either he's going to become over aggressive, or he's gonna become over passive. So you can take advantage of that. If he is over aggressive, try to learn the patterns as fast as you can, so you can land a DP, the D version, between the block strings or between the patterns. And since it's completely invincible, it's going to lead to a pretty high damage with one drive only. So that's the what I can tell you about Waja in far away. Just go ahead and drink and start building meter. It's gonna drive the opponent crazy.
Okay, cool. All right. What should they do at a mid-range distance?
Mid range, try to throw out the standing C quite a bit, since it's going to block any hop that it's thrown at it. And I actually use it against Iori a lot. You can use it to counter the Rekkas. You can use it to counter any hop. And if you're able to land a counter hit and you're able to react to it, you can cancel the standing C into the EX Dragon Dance, and it doesn't matter if the opponent's airborne and invincible. And since it was a counter hit, it does give you a couple of frames where you can actually hit the opponent. Also from mid screen, you can try to do the EX Dragon Tail, the grounded version. Since it's pretty fast, it can catch the opponent off guard and give you a hard knockdown and get into the close range where you really want to be. Mid range, also standing D, standing C, and standing CD. Those are going to be your best tools.
Okay. All right. And why don't you give us some insight on things they should do in close range? And I know it's going to be like some crazy stuff.
Yeah, close range. Again, since I was telling you earlier, the down A gives you 3 frames, or at least 3 frames advantage on block, so you can do a low hit and then hop over the opponent and do a reverse DP in order to get the opponent off guard, which is one of 2 things is going to happen. You're going to get, instead of the DP, you're going to get a Dragon Tail, which is going to force the opponent to block the opposite way. You're going to get a DP, which if you're on the left side and jump to the right, it's going to get the opponent from the right side of the screen. But if you do it a little bit earlier, it is going to go from right to left, but it's going to hit the opponent on the left side of the screen. So that's a pretty sick setup. You can capitalize with an EX Dragon Tail, which is going to give you a hard knockdown again and put the opponent to a Vortex state. Vortex is where you get the same setup over and over again, where you make the opponent guess again what you were going to do. This is mostly seen in the Street Fighter scene, but you can actually see it with say in this case with Kim. You get the hard knockdown with the quarter circle back B, or I'm sorry, with the D version.
Yeah. And
from there you can safe jump and do the same thing all over again. Same thing with Wa, but you need to spend the meter. Close range also, if you land a hit, then combo, always combo. You're always gonna get a pretty good result with any combo that you make with Wajai. Even if you start with lows, you're gonna get a pretty good result. If you are in close range also, you're gonna get the opponent to a frenzy because you're gonna be doing the backbreaker a lot. So just do it whenever you can. You're always gonna get the opponent off guard. And what I like to do once in a while is I get into like a mid and close range, in mid range around those two, and just do a random backbreaker, the A version, because most of them think that it's gonna be the C version because I'm far away. They're gonna try to jump over it, and since I'm gonna recover before they recover, I just do the EX Dragon Dance. They just feel stupid when they get hit with it.
Wow. So you'll use 1 meter to bait, then
to make him jump.
Oh wow, that's That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So one neat trick that I like to do with Wajai against blocking opponents, and the ones that I like to bait the emergency blowback from, is I just do a hit, or like a standing CD would be better because they can see it coming and they don't have to react to it, so they can see it coming and blow you back whenever they want. So it's actually better for this setup because you want them to blow you back. Do standing CD and cancel into the drink, and that'll evade their blowback and lead them in a state where you can do a complete combo while you're drunk. So that'll give you a guaranteed stun combo.
Oh wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'll try to implement that into the video later on.
All right, cool. All right. Let's see. What should let's see. All right. Well, if Huajai is cornered, if you're playing him and he's cornered, what options does he have to kind of escape or get out? You know, besides blocking. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah, the options that I have with him is, well, the best one would be if you have two stocks and you see a jump in. Well, it's no secret you have to do the EX Dragon Dance. Basically because it's gonna deal a lot of damage and it's gonna reverse the state where the opponent's gonna be cornered instead of you. If you don't have the stocks, what you can do is standing A. But you need to foresee the jump in.
Right. Okay.
Well, it's not that strict. The opponent can be already hopped when you can actually do the standing A and just hit him out of it. And from there you can do the EXDP and just go all the way to the other side of the screen. If you don't have the stocks, just do A into slide. In this case, if the A whiffs, it's gonna be cancelled into the slide, which you're going to end up in the other side of the corner, and the opponent's gonna be cornered. Another one, if you have a one stock and you read the opponent's block strings, you can do a backbreaker.
Oh, and that's always annoying.
Yeah, or you can risk doing a DP, which is not advised. Any DP is gonna be unsafe on block. And as I mentioned, if you're cornered and you do a DP, the B version, it does go on at an angle, so you're not gonna get any opponent that's right over you.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Next, so we're gonna talk a little bit about. Well, I wanted to ask you, what's his best team position? Like, where should he be? Like first, second, third? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, his position is actually debatable because it actually revolves around if you have a better anchor or a better on-point character. But Wajai can actually fill any one of those spots. Right now, I have it in the center, but I can also move him to an anchor. I don't move him to the on-point because I have Duel on there, and well, I don't really see Duel on as a mid or anchor character. But again, Wajai builds a lot of meter. If you do a DP, as I mentioned before, you can get a stock with 14 or 12, something like that, DPs, or the dragon kick, which I already mentioned the trick in order to get more meter without the opponent knowing about it. So that would be for the on point, because since he does deal a lot of guard damage and a lot of guard strings or block strings, it's really hard to get out of it if you don't have any initial stocks. If you put him in as a second character, he's obviously gonna have an HD stock to work with, and at least one power stock. So you can deal about 90% to 100 damage if you do it right, which seems to be one of the best options, just to leave him as a second character. As a third character, he is a high damage character and not really a high risk one, as you would see with some anchors. Because with this one, you can start any combo from a safe move, like a crouching C or standing B, standing A into a slide, which is gonna give you any combo that you want without having to risk your position.
Okay, cool, man. All right. All right. Next question. Yeah, this is a question for you. Do you play on pad or stick?
I usually play on a pad, the normal PlayStation pad.
Okay.
I tried a stick. I tried to play with sticks, but I can only play with the old joysticks.
Mm.
I'm not able to play in the little round ones like the sound one, all that.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Just can't.
Yeah, because the reason I asked you is because I mean I play on stick, and sometimes when people try to cancel his slide into a heavy kick DP, sometimes the super comes out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty common misinput error. What you need to understand is that you can do the slide and just release the joystick. Well, don't take your hands off it. Just return it to a neutral position, and you can cancel. You can let the slide go on for a bit before you do the DP. You don't have to do it right away.
Okay.
Or another thing that you can do the DP as if you were doing Yori's EX Yori command grab.
Oh, the half circle back forward.
Yeah, that'll give you a DP with any character,
Right.
without having to risk an input error.
Oh, okay. Dang, that's crazy. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, you can go ahead and try it. It always works.
Wow. All right, man. Kind of feel salty. I didn't figure that out on my own. Because I knew about that shortcut, you know, with the DP and the half circle back forward, but I never put it in that in that kind of situation. But all right, cool.
Yeah, I use it a lot with any character that has a command special that's 2 circles. I usually do that command move in order to skip the input errors.
Right. Okay. All right then. Well. All right. Next section, we're gonna go into something I think a lot of people might find very useful is playing against YJI and some very light character matchup discussion. So yeah, man. What are some things that someone should not do when they're playing against YJI, or if they have trouble against them? Like what are some tips you can give to them?
Okay, don't try to challenge the standing D or the standing roundhouse. Just don't, because you're gonna get counter poked. It has some of the furthest ranges in normals. So don't try to challenge it. Don't try to challenge the block strings unless he does the Dragon Tail, the D version, where it takes a lot of time in order to become active. You can just roll out of it, or jump with anything that's like 4 frames in the air, or even 5 or 6 frames, and it should beat the opponent out of it, or Wajai in this case. Don't block everything that is thrown at you, because your guard gauge is going to deplenish pretty quickly. What else? Yeah, watch out for the slide. Because that slide, even if they cancel late, let's say in this case, there are 2 ways in order to get into HD mode, on active frames or on recovery frames. If you do it on the active frames, you're gonna get your character is going to slide. But if you enter HD mode in the recovery frames of the hit, your opponent's gonna let out a standing C automatically without sliding. So Wajai can actually take advantage out of that, because if he goes into HD mode while he's crouching, he's gonna get another slide, even if he cancels late, and he can capitalize out of it. So watch out for the slide. Don't throw a lot of fireballs at Wajai, and just play it smart when you're playing Wajai, and take advantage of the patterns that he has. In this case, they're gonna throw out the standing D and standing C a lot, and the standing CD. So make good use of your observation skills. Figure out the patterns, so you can beat Wajai. Because any other way, if he lands a hit, you're gonna die.
Okay. All right. Cool. And why don't we talk about some characters who Wajai might have trouble against? Like, are there any characters that you have experienced that you have trouble against when playing Wajai?
Yeah, I have trouble against well, the universal characters, I would think. The broken ones, Mr. Karate. I've had some trouble with Kim. Not as of late, but I did have some trouble before I figured out the crouching C beats almost anything that Kim can throw at you, and you can capitalize out of it, even on the ground or on the air. Also, I've had some trouble with XIII. Well, basically, I've had some trouble against any character that relies on speed.
Okay, that's kind of crazy because he's kind of like fast himself, you know.
Yeah, but he lacks defensive tools.
Right. Okay.
So it doesn't matter if he's fast, but if he's cornered, speed's not going to matter a lot.
All right. Cool. All right. So all right. Next section we're going to talk about is some kind of notable Huajai players, man. What are some players that a new Huajai player should look for or research on YouTube or any other video hosting site if they want to kind of learn some stuff?
Well, most noticeable that I've seen that was on the past Evo would be Tokido. I'm aware that I think Romance is starting to play Wajai. Also, Bala has a Wajai with some pretty new setups. So you might want to look at some of his matches also that involve Wajai. Myself, I play Wajai, but I haven't actually played it in about 2 or 3 months, I think. I want to get into the scene again. But that's gonna be them. You might want to watch some Persona videos on Wajai. He has a lot of cool stuff with him. A lot of neat tools.
Okay. Persona World?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him. Persona. And you might want to try a little bit of Reynolds. But for my taste, he has a pretty standard Wajai. But you can actually see in a high-paced, high-level player how a Wajai can be used.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right then. Okay, man. Kind of winding down, wrapping this episode up. Can you give us some kind of do's and don'ts for a new Huajai player?
Don't overdo the drunken DP, the D version, because it is invincible. It is fun to use Wajai when it's drunk, but don't go overboard, because that had I ran into a lot of trouble when I was starting out with Wajai, because I overused the DP. They can just sniff it, and they're gonna be, most of them are gonna be overprotective, so they're not gonna go along with their normal block strings. And even if you try to go against or try to bait any one of those hits, it's not likely that they're gonna do something that's gonna be that's going to be unsafe enough for you to do the DP. Don't do the slide point blank, and cross up as much as you can with Wajai. Don't try to jump into the opponent. Jump over the opponent and try to DP, reverse DP into the other side. That's gonna be your best shot with Wajai, and that also goes for any player going against Wajai. Don't jump against them. Jump over them. Anytime that you can, jump over him. It's going to mess his gameplay up, because he relies heavily on where he is positioned in the screen. What else? All that I can say is learn your kill combos, and that goes for any character. Learn your kill combos, because it doesn't matter if you have a full HD and 5 stocks and your opponent has 100% health or 50%. If you don't know your combos, it's useless to have a high damage output character.
Alright, cool. Alright, man. Thank you so much for all this, man. This is some good stuff.
Don't worry about it. My pleasure, man. Thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of the Dream Cancel podcast. I'll be editing the wiki for the characters that I talk about, and well, just hope this information is useful for the new upcoming players, because I've heard that most of the new upcoming players have left KOF because they just have a little bit of trouble with the new systems.
All right. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I think that's about it for this podcast. Again, we just finished talking about Wajai, and that's about it. See y'all later.